Welcome to the Cardinals Nest. This is the show where we interview student athletes and coaches at St. Mary's University of Minnesota. I'm the faculty athletics representative, Dean Beckman. My co-host, as always, is Donny Nadeau, the sports information director. And today we welcome head men's basketball coach, Joe Fano. Donny, we're back getting into competition very soon here, so it's nice to be talking with coaches about not what they're doing to keep their student athletes engaged over COVID, but instead how they're preparing them for the upcoming seasons.
Absolutely. And I know Coach Fano and all the coaches here have just got to be chomping at the bit to finally be back on the court, on the ice, on the field, wherever it is. But finally, like you said, to be worrying about X's and O's rather than, okay, what are we going to do now that COVID is set in? But Coach, thanks for joining us. Greatly appreciated you giving us the time. I know you're busy with, as we said, with practices and whatnot, but can you just kind of put into words how the fall went? I mean, everything seemed to be going so well, and then after Thanksgiving we shut down, and now it's been 2 months since people have been basically back together. Talk a little bit about how you guys have kind of survived that roller coaster we've been on.
Well, yeah, I in one word, that's tough, but I can say we were a lot of anxiousness and just kind of not, everything was up in the air. We didn't know, when we were coming back and when the games were going to start and all that. So it was literally just taking, one day at a time for us. And I would say, control what we can control. That's what I would tell the guys. I said, everybody in the country is going through different problems, and they all have their own issues. And, I think, we have it better than some, and there's others that might have it better than us. But at the end of the day, we just have to worry about us and look forward to what we have coming. And we started practice on Monday, and the guys are really excited just to be back on the court again. And I miss being around the guys, just forget the basketball court, just kind of being around them and, the everyday banter to go back and forth with them. And, you spend so much time together throughout the year, and then to go this, 6 weeks and then we're done. And then I don't see him for 2-3 months. And now we're back. And now it's like, we're I tell them this year's a sprint. It's not a marathon. It's going to be a lot of games in a short period of time, and we're going to make the best of it. And hopefully everybody stays safe and healthy throughout this whole time. And, we'll see how many games we can play and go from there.
I was in the gym today watching a little bit of your practice, and to me, I thought what really struck me was just the intensity, the energy level, and like you said, people were high-fiving each other, and they were just excited. That it just seemed like every basket that was made, whatever the drill was, it just seemed like there was this excitement about being together.
For sure, it's we try to make things as competitive as we can during practice, and whether it's a competition, keeping score here or there. And, we want them to be engaged and all that. So that it was good to see. But, and I think because of the shortened season, that's going to continue throughout the whole year, because once we get started, it's going to be it's going to be all games. It's going to be, practice, game, day off, practice. And it's, so they know now there's a goal in sight, right? Where before we didn't know. And now we know that there's an end, and we know, hey, we got a game on February 1st and February 3rd, and it's something to look forward to and keep them engaged. And, we're just going to keep going, and every day, one day at a time.
Joe, I want you to reflect on last year a little bit. Obviously, a very successful season. You reached the MIAC playoffs, win a playoff game against Bethel. But now, of course, the expectations ramp up a little bit, both internally, but certainly from a conference standpoint as well. There won't be sneaking up on any teams, and the Cardinals will kind of have a little bit of a target on their back this year. So maybe talk about how you've been able to transform the program in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, last year was obviously a historic year for us, and we had some bumps in the road, but at the end of the day, it was a fantastic year. I would say, to be honest, Dean, I think teams are ready for us. I think they know that we're a good team, and they have to prepare for us. And so I'll be honest, I don't know if we necessarily surprise anybody. Especially towards the second half of last year. I mean, we were hanging with like we had 5 losses to the 1 and 2 ranked team in the country last year, and that was St. Thomas and St. John's. We played them 5 times, and I mean, in probably 3 or 4 of the 5 were very close games. So we know where we're at this year, and it's just keeping them level headed. And, they know how tough the league this is. And with that, under normal circumstances, playing all these teams twice throughout the year and playing 25 games, we have one of the tougher schedules in the country. So now that's going to be obviously shortened a lot. And every team is having issues in practice. So it's managing expectations, to be honest. Is, again, we're just taking it one day at a time. And our goal is to win the league. I mean, that's our goal. We want to win the league. It's not there are no playoffs this year, but it's our goal was set to compete and finish in the top 4 in the league, and obviously make the playoffs, but we want to win the league. And if that gets us, if there is an NCAA tournament and we win the league, that would be great, but that's our goal.
It's interesting because if you would have said that 3 years ago, when you took over the program, people probably would have said, yeah, sure. Yeah. Everybody wants to win the league. But this year, I really do think that the reality is that you have taken such giant strides, and there isn't a team in this league that you can't beat. I mean, take the St. Thomas game to end the regular season last year. You had them on the ropes to the final seconds.
Yeah.
And I think that isn't just coach speak. I think the fact that you say we want to win the league, it isn't just want. I think there's some real expectation that it can be done. And it's not just what a coach says to begin the season. Hey, yeah, we want to win the league. But I think there's a lot more belief that really can happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm not, I try not to give too much coach speak. I tell my guys, I'm going to tell it how it is. And I'm going to be as honest as I can with them. And I didn't come in here my first year saying we were going to win the league or even make the playoffs for that matter. And, I didn't know what I said. I hope we win 5 games our first year. But then after I saw my team, I said, our goal is to make the playoffs last year. That was our goal. And we achieved that goal. And we went even a step further by winning that first ever playoff game. And that was our goal from last year. And now, knowing what we had under a normal year and normal circumstances, our goal would be, yeah, we want to win the league or at least finish in the top 2 and compete and get an at-large bid and make the NCAA tournament. I firmly believe we had the team that could do that. Having said all that, we don't know what's going to happen this year because with COVID and we don't know. There's other teams that might not be playing at full strength. We might not be at full strength. So it's the message to me again is one day at a time, and we're going to go out and our goal. Some of the guys asked me, our goal we're playing to win. I mean, I'm not playing to play everybody and all that. I told them the best players are playing, and that's the bottom line. We don't have a lot of games to experiment with and do that. It's and we did start a little bit later than I think most of the teams in our league. So we're going to have less than basically 2 weeks of practice or less, and we're going to be playing games here in the next 10 days. So what kind of shape we're in, all that, I don't know. We're after only practicing twice, it's hard for me to say. I can tell you the guys are a little bit sore right now and they're tired, but as they should be. So I got to be careful with. I can't push them too hard because I got to make sure that they're. Keep them healthy as long as we can. So,
and unlike years past where a deep bench is beneficial because it's a long marathon of a season, this year that deep bench may be just as important because of what you've been alluding to is you really don't know day to day what players are going to be healthy and able to play. Right. But you guys do have a very deep team, and not just deep in numbers, but I mean deep in talent, and that's got to be a nice feather for you to have in your cap as you look at this sprint of a season, in that you've got some guys coming off the bench that are extremely good players.
Yeah, we're lucky to have that bench, and I think it's obvious that Eli Cave and Raheem are our top 2, but then after that it's you could say 3 to 5, 3 to 6, all the way down to maybe 9 or 10. They could all be interchangeable at some point. And so we have 10 to 12 guys that we can play, whether that's, and I tell them that whether it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 20 minutes, everybody's got to be ready to play this year because you don't know what can happen. Somebody can get hurt or whatever it may be. So everyone has to be ready. We are blessed. We had I like a couple of the freshmen that we've brought in that are kind of proving themselves right now that they can play. And maybe we're throwing them in a little bit too early than normal, but it's still good experience for them. And because we're just kind of throwing them in there, and they're going to be bodies, whether it's again 3-4 minutes at a time or 2 minutes at a time. We're gonna use them because we're gonna need to.
Coach, you had talked about the shortened season a little bit. I guess as fate would have it, perhaps you open up against Bethel, one of the teams that you beat in the playoffs last year, and then you've got St. John's and St. Thomas kind of sandwiched right in the middle of the season, back to back. Tell us your thoughts on the schedule when it came out.
Well, when I was like, oh great, I said we got Bethel, Augsburg, St. John's, and St. Thomas to start. I'm like, great. After just a short amount of practice time to be playing those teams. But again, everybody's in the same. Well, not everybody's in the same boat, but yeah, I mean, our league is tough. So it doesn't matter who we play. There's no easy games in our league. I mean, it's and we proved that 2 years ago. And there's every game in our league you have to come ready to play. It doesn't matter who it is. And Dean, that actually just changed already. We're actually opening with Hamlin now.
Okay.
February 1st.
That's a non-conference game.
As a non-conference game. And we may even play St. John's 2 days before that. So again, that's how fast things are changing here. So that was the schedule that came out a couple of days or about a week ago. We actually met this morning and kind of we were able to add 4 games. So now instead of playing 7, we're going to bump that to 11 games. So we're still figuring out some times and on who those opponents will be, but Hamlin and Bethel. So we are going to play Hamlin and Bethel twice for sure right now. And then it looks like probably St. John's and maybe Gustavus, but that's not official yet. So we'll see what happens in the next day or two.
Joe, talk about the importance of those 4 games. It's a 7-game conference season. That won't change. That'll be, you're scheduling 4 more games. They're against conference opponents. Is that a benefit as you prepare for, say, for example, you're playing, you're opening up, with Gustavus? Is that going to help you the next time you play them when it's the conference game? How are you looking at those 4 conference games in terms of a benefit for that conference 7-game season?
Yeah, I think it'll help us a little bit with the short practice time that we had for me to see these guys playing a game and actually, because normally we would have a scrimmage or 2, even 2 scrimmages before our first game. So now we're going right into playing a regular scheduled game after 2 weeks. So yeah, I think it definitely will help us in particular before we start conference play. But then again, again, in a normal season, a team in December or November could be completely different in February. But now I don't know how different everybody's going to be in such a short, a short window. So I think overall it helps us. The plan now is we just want to play games. And we'll learn from each game and go from there. And again, we're just going, day by day, and we'll adjust on the fly, basically.
Joe, I always enjoy reading some of Donnie's Final Four questionnaires that he puts on the St. Mary's Sports website, where he asks student athletes 4 questions. And Eli Cave was one recently that was spotlighted. And Eli said one of his favorite coach moments was chilling with you in Chicago. So what's it like chilling with Eli in Chicago?
Well, Eli's an experience in itself. No, he's a great kid. He's great. We, last year, well, was it 2 years now? We just went to downtown Chicago and showed him kind of where my old stomping grounds were. And I lived only a couple blocks from there, and went to dinner and went to a good pizza place. And then we went to down on Michigan Avenue and showed him the big Under Armour flagship store and the Nike store. So it was fun to hang out and those guys and just kind of bounce around. So it was a good experience.
So here's one for you, Coach. If and I asked this to the players a lot, and I'm gonna get your take on it. If you could pick 2 of your players and you had to put them on a deserted island all by themselves, which 2 would you pick so that they wouldn't kill each other before they were rescued?
Oh. You might have to repeat that question. two guys on a deserted island that they
Yeah.
wouldn't kill each other.
Yeah, who would be the two that would get along the best if it was just the two of them on a deserted island?
I would have to say Kareem and put me on the spot here. Probably Tyler.
Okay, and why those two?
Because they're both good kids and they don't they got good personalities and they're both Kareem is a little more goofy and Tyler is more like, yes, coach, whatever you need. So I think Kareem would Tyler would be there to be serious and Kareem would make them laugh. So I think those two I think they would be pretty good together. I couldn't put Raheem and Kareem together though. If those two were together, I don't think either one of them would be coming back. So
another question we usually ask our student athletes is kind of their favorite playlist artists that they work out to. And I know you don't get to pick the pregame music, but if you could pick the pregame music for the gymnasium, what might be one musical artist that would be on there, and how would it differ from a playlist, say, from Kyle Brown, your assistant coach?
It might not be that different because I always tease the guys. I want Dave Matthews to be played a little bit more. And then that shows my age because that's who I was listening to in high school. But I think Coach Brown likes Dave Matthews too. So I don't think it would differ too much from them, but it would definitely differ from the guys. So that's for sure. But I would say I'd like to hear a little more Dave Matthews.
And we mentioned Larry. I know that you know he's been here with you since since your inception as our head coach. Talk a little bit about Larry and what he brings to this team.
Yeah, no, he's been great recruiting for us. And he does all the behind the scenes dirty work for me. And he's been really good with that. He's on top of that with the guys and make sure they're getting all the information that they need, that I can't get to them right away. And I'll just send him a text and say, hey, can you get this out to the guys? And yeah, no problem. And he's on the road recruiting for us, and he's coaching some AAU over the summer, and which is helping us as well. So no, it's been great, and he's been good to have, and he's been doing all the things a good assistant has to do for us to be successful. So
Now,
that's what we
a little
need.
bit confused there because I kept calling Kyle Larry, but there's a reason for that. Just like, what do you call me?
Rich?
Yeah, see, Coach Fano has names for everybody. So just tell me a little bit about how that comes about, because it's so natural for you. I mean, it's immediately, boom, here it is, and it always sticks.
Yeah, I've had that knack since I've been a kid. I've had nicknames for everybody, and for whatever reason, they stick. And I don't know why. I tell you a quick story. I had a guy named John Silos, and his name was John in high school, and we played AAU ball together. And my dad was the coach, and I called him Paul. I guess he looked like a Paul, so Paulie. So my dad called him Paul the entire year, thinking his name was really Paul. So I don't know why. Larry came from Larry Brown, the basketball coach, and Brown's his last name, so I started calling him Lair. And then Larry Kristoviak on the Milwaukee Bucks, I teased him about him one time, so I just started calling him Lair, and now everybody's calling him Lair.
Yeah.
Joe, I have one more question, and then I'll let Donnie close things out. Have you talked at all about the weirdness of not playing with any fans this year? And, what's that going to be like? Are you going to do anything to try to, create a little more energy, excitement, urgency in the gym? What's your thoughts on that?
I'll be honest with you, Dean. I haven't put too much thought into it. There's been so much other stuff going on. I knew that we weren't going to have fans. It's going to be strange. It's going to be weird because you're going to be able to hear everything, and you're going to be hearing what's going on in the court. You're going to hear the other coaches. They're going to be able to hear me. It's going to be strange, and we're just going to have to make our own energy. In some ways, it might be good. Because energy-wise, if the other team is up screaming, and I'm sure that's going to get our guys fired up to start, and it's probably going to be some banter going back and forth. The benches, not but just cheering for their teams and getting excited because really that's the only energy they're going to be able to do is from us as coaches and the bench. So it's going to be important for them to be involved in the game. And I think they're going to be more involved just because their voices are going to be heard that much more because of the silence. So it might even be an incentive for them to, to talk more and get more involved in the game. But that's really about it. We haven't done anything special or anything like that. We're just happy to be back on the court right now playing. So,
usually, Joe, it's funny how you get a new coach, and I know you're not new anymore, but usually it's like, okay, every year gets a little bit easier. First year is tough because it's your first year. Second year gets a little bit easier. Third year gets a little bit easier than that. But there's no way this has been an easy year for you. I mean, it's just been absolute chaos. How do you as a coach kind of just wrap your head around everything that you have to do that's so different this year than it has been in the past as you've moved through the coaching ranks?
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's been tough at times, especially knowing the team that we had coming back. I mean, under normal circumstances in normal years, on paper, this is probably the best team St. Mary's basketball would ever have ever had on paper. How that would have panned out, I don't know. So as a coach, you're obviously excited and me like, man, you're building this and you're trying to get to where you want it to be. And now you're here and then it's gone. And then it's back again and then it's gone. And now it's shortened the season. It's this and that. So it's been stressful, going back through the summer and, because when it first happened, you're like, oh, everything's going to be fine. We're going to be back. We're going to be back. We'll get through the summer and then we'll be back by the fall. Everything will be back to normal. Well, obviously that's not the case. So, and as you're going through the summer and in fall, it's just, you're talking to other coaches in the league and you're talking to parents and you're talking to your coaching staff and everybody's got all these theories and it just makes you nuts because, I talked to this guy and he talked to that guy and what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? And then not knowing what's going to happen. So yeah, it's been stressful. But now we're back on the court and it's, again, one day at a time and we're just going to go here and hope for the best and see what happens. But like I said, we're playing to win. And if we do, we do. And if we don't, then it wasn't meant to be, but we're definitely going to give it our all. We're going to play our hardest and see what happens.
Definitely looking forward to it, Joe.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Yep. We're looking forward to it as well. And thank you for everything that you guys do. I know the guys really like it. They enjoy you both. And I know you put a lot of time and effort into not just men's basketball, but, all of our sports at St. Mary's. And, we appreciate that. And we thank you. And I know the guys, like I said, and the women, they really enjoy the Nest and everything you guys do off the court as well. So thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Joe Fano, our men's basketball coach. Good luck here as you get ready to start the season. It's going to be great to see you back out there. That's going to do it for this Cardinals Nest. Thanks for watching.